got very serious, but ultimately
Yes.
you cracked and you got through. How about Carlos Beltran?
Carlos, nice, a little bit more quiet, but still, Carlos is one of my best friends too. So, I get along with everybody. I got very unique relationship with Carlos.
So you can see and you know how much Mets fans loved you. What was the thought process? What happens when you become the free agent and you leave the Mets and you end up with the Marlins?
First of all, I waited for the last moment, wait for the Mets to offer. So and I had a contract with the money at the table, and they say, if you decide, we're gonna take that money away from the table. So and they never say, oh, we want you back with, they never offer anything. So I got a job to do. So the money has a contract there, I have to tell you, So I want to stay in New York, I don't want to leave, but it's part of the business.
Part of the business, yeah. And then one of the things, obviously, even what does it feel like when you had been, the fan favorite with New York? You go to Miami, and then suddenly, with the way things go down there, you're being traded to Toronto. And what's it like to feel to get traded?
I signed Miami for 6 years. After the third year, I get to Toronto. To contract, Like I was vacation in Dubai.
You're on vacation.
I don't even know.
Do you find that vacation card?
Yeah, I was going to be. I got a lot of missing code there because it's a little bit different time there in Dubai. And I come in and say, oh, you got ready, what? The owner of Miami, he was talking about buy a house here in Miami, so you're gonna be here for a long time. And then after 1 year, I went, no, to Toronto, another country. That was crazy.
So a couple other questions that you and I talked about a few days ago, and for your perspective on things. One was famously that I think a lot of Mets fans were proud that you won the batting title. And it's an important milestone for the franchise. So Johan Santana, hitter, Jose Reyes, batting title. But the way the season ends, the last game of the season, you come up, you get the one at bat, bunt base hit, and then I think it's a 337 batting average. And then after that, you're kind of pulled from the game, sit out the rest, win the batting title off over Ryan Braun that season. And there was, as you certainly know, and you and I talked about, there was a bit of backlash of people who were critical at the time, who thought somehow, I guess, maybe sportsmanship or fair play, you're obligated somehow to have all the at-bats in that one game when we're talking about, I know this is editorializing on my part, but it's a 6-month season, it's 162 games, and you've had all those at bats, and here there was this negative tone to something that was such a positive thing. So I wanted you to be able to talk about the thought process there and what went into you sitting and the decision there and how that all
happened. The day before, me and Teddy Collins, he came to me and he said, "What do you want to do tomorrow?" So you want to play? I said, yeah, I want to play, And we decided that I want to take one at bat and, he want to take me out of the game. It wasn't like I get a free base and say, I'm out of the game. No, we already talked the day before. It's going to be one at bat. I know what a lot of people say because I was a free agent that year and they want to see me play at least the whole game, but that was something that me and TC were talking about it the day before. So, I feel good about it because, I'm the first baseball player for the organization to win a batting title. I do it for the organization. So, by the way, the guy who was behind me, Brown, that year, he was bothered against a steroid. So, very good season.
understood the negativity there when the body of work of winning the batting title is 6 months and 162 games. And I understand, but that was always was kind of crazy to me. But all right. What did it feel like? Obviously, the Mets' home right now is Citi Field, but what was it like specifically to play at Shea Stadium, and how did it feel the end of Shea Stadium?
You know, I feel City Field is nice, beautiful and stuff, you know, but it's nothing better to play in Shea Stadium. I like Shea Stadium so much. So
I don't know if everybody else feels this way, but for me, yeah, there's no Citi Field is just a beautiful park. It's fantastic. Little ballpark, they did a great job. But back to that 2006 season, and if anybody was there for that series against the Cardinals, it really was it felt like the stadium was shaking. Like you can feel shake, maybe it wasn't built as well. Yeah, when you were there, like you felt the vibration.
yes.
With the fans. So something else we talked about that wanted you to, be able to share your point of view on your career. Obviously, you leave the Mets, and we talked about it. It's Miami, it's Toronto, and you end up in Colorado, and you get suspended, and you then get cut by Colorado, and there you are. And the Mets, we can be critical at times of the Mets and ownership and different things that have happened through the years. The Mets reach out at that point to you and give you an opportunity to come back to the Mets. What did that feel like? What was your mindset? What were you going through at that time?
By that time, a lot of stuff was happening, and I don't even know what my future was by that time. And Sandy was the GM, and he reached out to my agent and said, there's a very good chance that we'll bring Reyes back, but he got to play third base, I said, it's not even better situation for me than come back home and play for the Met again and finish my career when everything started. So, I feel very, very happy about it. I came home, the last of my career here and finished here in New York, nothing else. So.
What when I think about the different managers that you played for, what was how are they different, and what was I don't know if you can say who was your favorite manager, but who did you love playing for? Why?
As a baseball player, you need to love to play with anybody because you got a job to do, So I don't want to say that I got one favorite because I get along very good with everybody that I ever played. So I'm an easy guy, So I just enjoy the game, the most of the game, So.
And since you've been, I know you talked a little bit that since you've been retired, one other thing that maybe some Mets don't associate with you as much, but you also have kind of started a career in the
I think that's a hobby.
a hobby in the music world. What made you want to have a hobby in the music world? What is it that you're doing these days that post baseball that you've enjoyed in music?
I've been doing music for a long time now. So even my favorite music video was 2011. I was doing the season. So something that I never do because I always I do before, one song every year after the season because I don't wanna when I was playing I don't wanna be in the music business basically at the same time. But like I said, it's my hobby. I still do music now for fun. I got my studio in the house and then I don't play golf. You're not gonna see me in the So I like music. It's my hobby. Like everybody has a hobby. Music is my hobby, my passion. I like it.
So you were Candelita before. What did you think of all that? As somebody who is, was obviously an exciting player, played with flair, and a good defensive player, and also someone, as you said, who made, a music video while you were a player, all that. To see what Jose Iglesias did and brought to this Mets team in 2024 with OMG, what did you think of that?
I mean, did he sign yet? They need to sign him back. I mean, feel happy for him, because he been started here at the minor league and bring all that positive energy here in New York. You see everybody with the oh my God sign, guys, let's see.
Yeah, really
Sign that
good.
guy. Sign it.
Really fun. So I'm going to open it up in a moment. I just want to give the, for everybody else, if you want to line up, I'm sure you all have Jose Reyes questions out there. But with Steve and Alex Cohen now owning the Mets and where you saw the 2024 Mets, how do you feel as a former player about the direction of the Mets?
Well, I mean, nobody expect the Mets last year to get where the World Series. Nobody expect that. So that's good to see. I think the future is. I think they got very good chance to bring Soto to New York. So,
Yeah, it seems like they are, we'll find out. We'll find out soon. Yeah, very soon, I think in the next, but you don't have any inside information on that.
I wish.
All right, let's take some questions. Are there fans? Are we passing mics over there? Yeah.
One of my favorite players I've seen, whenever you guys, it's a bad player. So my question to you is, obviously there's rumors all over the place. In the 2025 season, David Price's number is going to be retired. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm very good for the, he deserves it. He's the captain of the New York Mets. I'm very good for him.
Yeah, I said this to you before, but what's the story? Because there's something about David Wright that maybe we don't know. Is he, was he a practical joker? Was he? He's so serious in front.
No, he was nice and loose. So yeah. So I got some story.
Okay, who's next?
Jose,
Yes.
two things. One, I'm in my late 40s. I've been around a while now. I was too young to enjoy the 86 Mets. But you ignited the Met fan base like no other player. I'm not kidding. No disrespect to David, right?
Thank you.
Jose, the electricity you were on there. Jose, the biggest thing I'm sorry, I'm nervous. When I was at the last game, and you were the first person there, and I couldn't stop crying. How you made that up here, that was a special moment. I just want to you were awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
That had to be hard with David because he was still so young and the back injuries. And what was that like when you saw him, even whether you were, when you watched him, even let's say that you weren't with the team yet. Again, you came back in 2016. So in 2015 is when they went to the World Series. But just even watching from afar, when you saw him and you knew how much he was struggling with that back pain, to come back and have a moment still that year.
Yeah, when he retired, I think I was the third guy that he told you that he gonna retire, maybe after his family. So he bring me out outside the clubhouse and told me that's why when I started crying, he said, man, whatever's best for you and for your family, go do it. So I'm gonna support you 100%.
Yeah, you gotta be able to walk later in life with your kids. Back injury. Sorry. Who's up next? Question? Anybody? Oh, you got one back there? Yep.
Yeah, it was a ton of fun watching him play last. Just getting back to 2006, Game 7, you came up right after Cliff Ford. It's part of debate over what Willie Randolph should have done. Punted, first and second going out just by 2 runs, and just love to hear you came up right.
We're gonna second guess the manager right now. Fans were critical of thinking, what should have happened to try and put runners in scoring position, all of that.
Yeah, that's one way that it's being done by that time, but it's too late now, so
Yeah, and look, so to build on that, how did you feel? Obviously, Carlos Beltran is up there, and Adam Wainwright with one of the nastiest curveballs that you could have seen. A future Hall of Famer in Adam Wainwright with a great curveball, drops that in there and freezes Carlos. And the whole stadium, 52,000 people, are silent for a moment. And then, you mentioned it before that Mets fans and playing in New York can be the best. It can also be very, very difficult. And how did you and the players feel or react to? I think there was a lot of anger or negativity from fans that Carlos stood up there and took strike 3.
I mean, he don't took because he want to take that meeting, it's not so he want to control that situation, for as a little player, sometimes we strike out. That's part of the game. I know the situation there. That was different because we were close to the World Series, but he don't want to strike out that situation. He want to control for the team, and as a little player, stuff like that happens.
Yeah, baseball, and everybody here knows that you hear it all the time, that baseball is a game of failure. When you're going to the Hall of Fame and you're failing 70% of the time. So that's baseball, but it just was so, noteworthy.
It's really hard for Carlos, that year, I know everybody was talking about that, still, in 2024, we're still talking about that, he knows that. So, he knows that.
I think that's something I would guess for most of this audience, but I would think for you, I can speak for myself, is happy to see that Carlos is back in a role with the Mets.
Yeah.
But he's also back where he belongs. All right. Who's next? Question for Jose.
Jose, question, I don't know how much you can say on this. What was it like in the transition with the Willie Randolph to Jerry Manuel and that kind of fiasco that unloaded? What was like around the team?
That's kind of difficult, because as a player, you want to play for one manager, but when the thing go that way, somebody have to go. Sometimes, because if we play bad, it's not because the manager, because we are the one who be on the field. But in the same time, Jerry Manuel, he was there working for Willie. I get along very good with Jerry, so I don't got no problem at that time.
Yeah, I guess the classic thing, I think with that, whoever asked the question, the challenging thing there in that whole era, of course, was people weren't happy with the way it was also done. You're allowed to fire a manager, but you don't necessarily need to.
Probably the way that how it's happened, maybe that was, so they wait for Willie to fly to Los Angeles,
Right.
And say you fire. Take it back.
Right. Right. That was the part, and I think that's something as there was a long period of same old Mets or LOL Mets, and it's things like that, making a manager fly across the country only to fire him and fly him back, that fed into that. And I think that with the Mets right now, with the infrastructure, with Steve Alex Cohen, and the way they've set the team, it would seem that we've moved out of that era of LOL Mets. And that's, the hope is, we'll see what happens with the Juan Soto, but that the Mets become this destination franchise that is respected around the league. And I think the Mets were respected for a time with, whether that was with Omar Minaya signing Carlos Beltran and Delgado and you and David and Brooke Floyd. And those were teams that I think did have respect around the league.
I agree with you.
Next question.
Hi, Jose. You are the most exciting and energizing player I've ever watched. You're my favorite
Thank you.
ever. So it was really sad to know what happened to you and to see you go. I was very happy that the Mets brought you back. I remember I was at your last game at Citi Field, and when you hit like a triple, just like your old self, you got a huge standing ovation. Everyone was cheering and chanting. How did it feel to like have the crowd back chanting for you after all your turmoil going from city to city? But the real fans loved you in New York.
Thank you for the love. Yeah, I just want to come in and just to listen to you guys still now and seeing what they all say, so I really appreciate that for you guys. So God bless you all.
Yeah, sometimes when you talk about the challenges of playing in Europe and the spotlight and all that, I also do think sometimes that for most of the folks out here who go into work and have jobs, that people don't show up at your place of work and chant, Jose. So with the downside comes the affection and the love and all that. So I hope there's balance. Who's next? Somebody have a question there? Yeah.
Reyes, it's Andy. Good question. When you were younger, were there any veteran role players that you looked to as a mentor on the team?
Yes, I'm gonna say Julio Franco, he was there.
Yeah.
He was the guy that was Pedro Martinez too.
Sure.
So we give a lot of advice. Beltran, the guy also other guys. So because me and David, we kind of was the young guy in the team, and so they always give us great advice. So that was good.
Yeah, obviously Pedro Martinez, it was towards the end of his career, but what was it like being around a player like that is a first ballot Hall of Famer?
Like Pedro was kind of like a dream come true as a Dominican baseball player because Pedro Martinez, Sammy Sosa, growing up, everybody would go to those guys. So get to play the same field with Pedro Martinez and how unbelievable person that he is, I feel good about it.
Yeah, I remember seeing Pedro sitting in the Mets dugout on days when he was not pitching, talking to other pitchers in the lessons, and you could see what a baseball genius he is.
He's a genius.
Yeah.
So when Pedro talks,
Yeah. The four sides also seem to have the world's like Lord hands. Yeah.
So just a quick follow-up. So as a fan looking in, did you feel more confident on the mound? I see that, feel
it's going to be going on. It's okay, guys have to do it. I just try to do what I do with whoever pitching, so I just try to base, try to score run, try to hit triple, a lot of different stuff to put my team in great position to win.
By the way, did you see in the last week, the commissioner put out there, he's considering the golden, you thought, imagine the big spot in the game and suddenly they're, really either they're bringing you up to bat or David or somebody else taking the bat out of somebody else's hands.
It already been too much change on the baseball. You don't really change all this stuff. No. No.
There you go. Jose says no. Who's that?
Yeah, so you're one of the most energetic, like bringing energy to the team players that I've always in my life. We appreciate that. You're not always been celebrated that way with everybody around baseball. And I know that Met fans here love you. And we know that you were an amazing player. We will celebrate you forever. But my question is, how do you want to be remembered? What do you want your legacy to be?
I mean, good question, though. One of the best men players who ever put a jersey on it. So, so I feel, I know that I went away for a few years, so it wasn't my fault because I never want to leave New York. I want to stay my whole career with one thing, and doesn't happen, but so from my heart, from bottom of my heart, I love you guys, so I never want to leave. So I'm here.
An all-time great Met. I remember an all-time great Met.
Thank you, Jose. We know that you're an all-time great man. You're one of the greatest Mets shortstops to play the game. One of the best stress Mets players. Tell us what you think about our shortstop now, Francisco Lindor, in all three categories.
He got a flow, the good thing about Lindor, he kind of reminds me a lot because he plays with a smile. Like he enjoyed the game so much. To see him this year, like the year that he almost won the MVP. Supposed to win, before they say not the age win MVP now, it's different. So 2024 something. For Lindor is a very good super. He's a superstar, though, and he got shot too. So, he got good flow. He got good flow.
A superstar with swag, smile, good flow. All right. Who's up?
Jose, first of all time favorite Met. I chose number 7 when I played Little League because of you. And I can speak for all of us here that we want you inducted into the Mets Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
My question kind of goes along with that golden hat bullshit. When it came to clutch, I want to go specifically to when you tied the game with a 2-run homer against the Phillies in September of 2016. Everybody remembers that the closer, I think it was Familia, gave up the lead. It was 8-6 Phillies, and then Cabrera, and Struble Cabrera walked off in the ninth. You relate kind of like how did you manage to, as a veteran, keep the youngsters motivated when you're in a dire situation? It's saying you're down by 2 or 3 runs in the bottom of the ninth, you got 2 out. How do you keep those guys motivated?
As a veteran also, and this goes back to what we were saying before, that concept of belief. How are you inspiring your teammates in that moment to maintain belief when it looks so, kind of difficult?
You just don't put the head down, embrace what everything can happen, So then it's not over, you got an opportunity to win that game. So, because, when you lose by 2 runs, I mean, nothing if you do the rest stuff on the field. And, I think because of that game, we made that position that year. It gets you up to the next level. Yeah.
Are we good, everybody? Let me just say.
Let's go quick at the front.
Anything else? All right, last one that one made me think of is, so your number. I don't know, there's big number 7s in history. Mickey Mantle, of course, comes to mind or whatever. Sometimes a number is as simple as that's what the clubhouse guy gives you, and that's your number. But was there any significance to that number for you?
Looking 7, baby. I think that I'm never gonna have that number when I met it to the big league because by that time, I don't know if you remember Jason Philly, the catcher.
Yeah.
He was a number 7. So, and he gave it to me when I came to the league. That was good. Thank you, Jason.
That is nice for him because back then, I mean, well,
And I was the minor league.
right.
He already in the big league.
Yeah, so give it for a prospect
Yeah.
as opposed to usually you hear the story, some superstar comes over and gives somebody a Rolex.
When I don't know how number 7, I have to give a Rolex.
Yeah. I did a Rolex thing, but that is, I like what happens, and so that's very generous of him to have done that. All right, Jared, Jose Reyes to give us this time.
There was a game, toward the end,
Oh, yeah.
I said before every time, I wanna pitch 1 inning and I wanna play center field. I feel like I have to even go center field, then they don't get a ball to me. You know, I enjoy when it was physical.
It never served that, I don't think it went that well, is that right?
At least, the first goal that who started that Matt, let's go like 7 run again.
Yeah.
Go see.
Yeah. Thank you, AJ.
Thank you.
It's not a question. First of all, Corey, thank you, did a great job. Jose, you're by far the most exciting player I've ever seen as a New York Met, and our friends here at the Queens Baseball Convention have you, and we want to give you a present from our friends. So, on the back of this, everybody, all the volunteers, all the great volunteers that have been doing this for the last 10 years, sign this for you. To Jose, with gratitude from your friends at the Queens Baseball Convention. Anybody who has any history here with the QBC knows our great friend Dave Maggio, a brilliant artist. I want to bring up Keith Blackman and Dan Tuitt, the creators of the Queens Baseball Convention, and Domenico Vecchi, our great partner. Come on up, present you with this.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
So I'll do this. One more thing. This year, everybody knows the R&B song, right? Everybody knows who created it? Right there? Well, J-Mac, Kid Frost this year created a QBC sign.
I could be a producer.
Yeah, is it cool if I grab it?
If I come back, everybody, how, like,